So foreign investors are thought to be taking all the profits out of the country, and that is hurting the economy as well as the shilling. I have with me Paul Busharizi. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This is the Handshake. Thanks for joining us here on New Vision TV. Paul, this is the reason these investors came to Uganda, because they can easily take out their profits, 100%, right?
Absolutely. Look.
So what happened?
Think of it like this: if you have a bank account, or you want to open a bank account,
right?
One of the things you want to find out is how many ATMs they have, because you want to be able to get your money out when you want it. So the more ATMs the bank has, the more likely you're going to go to that bank.
Okay.
So it's the same with investors.
Yeah.
First of all, by nature of even the definition, these are foreign investors. They're not Ugandans. I want my money where I am, not.
But they're in Uganda.
The business is in Uganda. For me, I'm not in Uganda. I want my money where I am. So if the money does its work, we get a profit, I should get my share of profit back. By definition, it's foreign investment. You see, if you're a Ugandan, if it's me investing, when they pay me my dividend, I spend it here, because this is my country.
Yeah, but so why are we complaining right now? What's the problem?
Well, you know, unfortunately, it's always easy to mobilize against foreigners. A visitor and a person from outside, it's always easy to mobilize against them. So we just create a cartel here, it's us against them. That's always the case. But you know, if you look down the history of even the last, let's just even say the NRM years, 30 years, but you can even go much further back in Uganda's history. Foreigners don't come many times. They do sometimes, but most times they come to add a service. So for example, if it went for foreign capital, we would not have mobile phones. True. If it went for foreign capital, we might not have some of the banks we have here. Or, well, all of the banks. All our banks are foreign now. If it wasn't for foreign capital, we wouldn't have some of the shopping centers or supermarkets we have. They also go where they can make money, and many times you go where there's a gap that those guys are not doing it, let me go and provide. So over the years, our standard of living has improved because of foreign investment. They have contributed, not that it's all due to them, but they've contributed either through new services or new products or paying taxes. They pay a huge amount of taxes. I mean, like, if you think of the South African group of investors in Uganda, I think they do more than $1 trillion. The top 20 of them do more than $1 trillion shillings a year. While it's easy to mobilize against foreigners, we seem to, it's convenient to forget that we are where we are. And by the way, they're not doing us favors. They came here to make money. They say, Bambi, those Ugandans, they don't have mobile phones, let's go there and give. No. They came to make money. And that's why the relationship is so enduring, because there's a mutual benefit. You give us a service, we pay for it. And you know, what people are also forgetting, these services are becoming cheaper and cheaper every year. If you go and check what, you know, in 1998 when I opened my MTN account, I paid 70,000 shillings for a SIM card. 70,000
Paul, you don't know what class I was in.
No, I don't. 70,000 shillings for a SIM card in 1998. Can you imagine? So over the years, also because of huge uptick, prices have come down. So they make money, they make a profit. We benefit from services, and also we've also made quite a bit of money from these services. I mean, like now, you talk about 64 trillion shillings or 54 trillion shillings in 2017 went around mobile money. Yeah, and that money, you know, many years ago, some of you were young. If I wanted to send money to my mom in Mbarara, I would wait for somebody at the bus stage who I know, and then I can even get somebody and say, here's your transport to and fro, then here's money for mommy. You go, you bring it back. Now, I don't have to do that. Can you imagine the savings? The money I would have used on you going and coming, I spent on other things. So we also benefited, we also made money. So I think the reason why this relationship is also so enduring is there's a mutual benefit. If there was like a slant, then you say, you know, this thing doesn't work. But in many of them, it actually works for both of us.
You know, perhaps you're trying to compare with other countries that have a certain percentage where they say 50%, you know, you can take that to your country. How can we revise this policy? Is there a possibility?
Well, look, first of all, as you said earlier in the program, you don't want to imagine you go to a bank and you put your 100,000. They say, okay, now thank you very much. Now you can only withdraw 50,000. It'll be like, excuse me, it is all my money.
It is my
why are you putting things on me? That's the first thing. But also, you have to also look at yourself. Uganda, in this case, as an example. Do you have a big enough market to call the shots? I mean, you hear of what they call exchange controls in countries like maybe even China, or South Africa for that matter, or you know, I don't know about the States, but you hear of exchange controls. But those are normally in markets where I am doing you a favor to come into my market. As in, the relationship is almost slanted in the favor of the country and thing. I mean, Uganda, you're a poor country with a per capita GDP of $600. I mean, what could actually help us is the growth of the East African community market, because then we'd be selling that come to Uganda to enter this market. Then you have bigger bargaining power. But until you get to that point, you know, you want to be nice.
You really want to. But then our shilling is hurting.
Well, you know, the people who are complaining about the shilling, those are normally importers. And even for a country, you wonder whether importers are the guys you should be biasing your policy towards. You should be biasing towards exporter. If a coffee exporter says the shilling has gone down and it's now, let's just hypothetically say 4,000 and it was 2,500 last year, for my kilo of coffee I'm getting 1,500 shillings more, something like that. Drive the economy. Exporters are part of what they call, you know, the productive sector. They're the guys who extract and produce for sale to wider markets. Those are the guys you want to be. So I'm sure it's not exporters who are complaining about the shilling.
It's the importers.
Then you really need to wonder what's the motive.
Oh well, but anyway, we called them for these things, so we just need to man up. In short,
look, I don't know why we're even making it a problem. It's not really a problem until somebody either wants what they are doing, which is sometimes a problem, or someone just wants to get a piece of the action, or essentially the action.
Or probably they were denied the action.
Well. Okay, let's just take an example. Let's just take an example of a mobile company here. It costs hundreds of millions of dollars to invest even every year to keep this thing going. I mean, there are very few Ugandans who can do that. So it's all very nice to say, okay, Ugandans give it to us, but if you can't deliver the service, why are we the consumers being made to suffer? Find a way, you know, other ways of doing this, you know.
Oh well. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.